Welcome back to our channel. Think your old pennies aren't worth much? You might want to look again, starting with the 1976 Lincoln penny. Some rare copper errors and off-center strikes bring big value. Next, the 1984 penny. Look for that famous doubled ear variety worth serious cash. The 1999 penny has some wild die breaks and clashes that collectors love. And even the 2014 penny has rare mint errors that could turn 1 cent into hundreds. Like and subscribe now. Your next lucky penny could be right in your pocket. The year was 1976, America's bicentennial. Fireworks lit the skies, flags waved proudly, and families across the country celebrated 200 years of independence. That same year, the U.S. Mint was busy striking coins with special commemorative designs. The quarter showed a colonial drummer. The half dollar, Independence Hall. The Eisenhower dollar, a majestic Liberty Bell superimposed over the moon. But the penny? It bore no fanfare. The same Abraham Lincoln, the same familiar reverse. It quietly remained unchanged, or so it seemed, because hidden within millions of these ordinary-looking 1976 Lincoln cents were a few coins that shouldn't exist at all. A few coins that held secrets invisible to the naked eye. Coins born from human error, mechanical flaw, or just plain mystery. These are the coins that slipped through the cracks, literally, and into the hands of those lucky or careful enough to recognize their worth that it's not magic. It's numismatics. And today, we're diving deep into the world of pennies. Not just any pennies, extraordinary ones. Ones with strange minting errors, unexpected compositions, and rare design anomalies that have fetched prices in the thousands at auction. And the best part? Some of them still live in old coffee cans, pocket change, and coin albums gathering dust in attics. But let's start with one of the most misunderstood yet astonishing stories. The tale of the 1976 transitional era penny. In 1976, all Lincoln cents were supposed to be minted on 95% copper planchets, just as they had been since 1962. But in rare cases, blank planchets from other years, specifically those made of 40% silver or the zinc-based ones used post-1982, were mistakenly fed into the coin presses. This resulted in Lincoln cents that looked coppery on the surface, but were actually made from entirely different materials. Some weighed less. Some sounded different when dropped, but visually, nearly identical. It took a trained eye and a scale to know the difference. Imagine coming across one of these at a flea market or estate sale. You're sifting through a cigar box of old coins. Most are dull, brown, unremarkable, but one penny feels lighter than the others. You hold it up to the light, flip it between your fingers. You don't know it yet, but what you're holding is a 1976 Lincoln cent struck on a 40% silver planchet. A fluke, an accident, and it's worth upwards of $4,500 to the right collector. That's happened more than once. Then there's the infamous double die obverse. Among collectors, the term double die sends a jolt of electricity down the spine. It refers to a specific minting error where the die, the engraved tool used to stamp the coin, has been improperly made, resulting in doubled images on the coin. In 1976, a small number of Lincoln cent from the Philadelphia Mint were struck using such a flawed die. The result? Strong doubling on the date, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." These aren't minor anomalies. They're obvious. So clear, in fact, that once you see it, you'll never forget it. Now picture this, a young coin collector in the early 80s, flipping through his grandfather's old coin folders. Most of them are common dates. Well-worn. Nothing special. But then he spots a 1976 penny. The date looks odd. The letters seem thicker. Blurred, maybe? He grabs a magnifying glass. And then he sees it, clear, undeniable doubling. He doesn't know it yet, but that penny could be worth over $12,000 today, depending on its condition. One just like it sold at auction in 2019 for nearly $12. 500. These errors aren't always obvious to the untrained eye. Sometimes, it takes years before their value is recognized. Other times, they're spotted by sharp-eyed collectors, immediately pulled from circulation, and preserved like tiny time capsules. That's what makes the hunt so thrilling. Every coin is a mystery waiting to be solved. And then there are the planchet errors, the backbone of modern penny lore. A planchet is the blank metal disc that gets struck to create a coin. Normally, it's uniform, perfectly cut and tailored to the specific denomination. But what happens when a foreign planchet accidentally enters the mix? Say a blank mint for a dime or a foreign coin? Incredibly, a few 1976 Lincoln Cent have been discovered struck on dime planchets. These are thinner, smaller, and silver-colored. When you hold one, you know something isn't right. The rim is off. The strike is incomplete. Lincoln's profile might look a little squished. It's a penny, but it's not. That kind of error? It's rare, very rare. And collectors have been known to pay well over $13,000 for examples in high grade. Of course, the allure of the penny isn't just in its errors. There's history embedded in every detail of its design. The Lincoln Cent was first issued in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it broke a long-standing tradition. President Theodore Roosevelt wanted American coins to reflect the nation's values, and Lincoln was the perfect symbol of unity and perseverance. In 1959, the reverse was changed from wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial, marking another milestone, 150 years since Lincoln's birth. So by 1976, the penny you held in your hand was carrying layers of history. Presidential tribute, artistic evolution, national pride, and sometimes mistakes that made it priceless. Now let's talk about one more incredibly rare subtype, the off-center strike. In this error, the coin is stamped incorrectly so that the image lands partially off the blank, creating a crescent-shaped cutoff. The more off-center the strike, without losing key identifying details like the date, the more valuable the coin. A 1976 penny struck 75% off-center with a visible date once sold for over $11. 200. Even more dramatic are the clipped planchets, coins that look like they've had a bite taken out of them, caused by the metal sheet misfeeding during the punching process. These errors create visually stunning coins that fascinate collectors. A 1976 penny with a large curved clip and strong mint luster can bring in several $100s. Now, imagine someone cleaning out their late uncle's belongings. In a drawer, they find an old Whitman coin folder filled with cents. Most of them are oxidized, dark, heavily circulated. But tucked between two pages is a bright, nearly uncirculated 1976 penny with an odd edge. It's clipped. They post a photo in an online coin forum. Within hours, offers pour in. That moment, right there, is the magic of collecting. That there's a deep nostalgia to pennies. We all grew up with them. We used them in gumball machines, learned to count with them, flick them into fountains with whispered wishes. And yet, we never really looked at them. Not closely. But for those who do, for those who see the story behind the shine, these small coins become portals into history. Collectors know this. Dealers know it. And now, so what's the takeaway here? That your spare change might be more than change. That within the millions of ordinary coins produced each year, a few extraordinary mistakes slip through. Some are minting errors. Others are transitional flukes, and some are just happy accidents. But they're out there. Here's what you can do. First, check the date, especially 1976, 1969, yes, 1983, 1992, and 1995. Look closely. Use a magnifying glass. Weigh the coin if it feels light. Compare it to other pennies. Look for doubled images, clipped edges, and off-center strikes. Even subtle differences can point to big value. And if you find something odd, don't clean it. Never clean a coin. Instead, take photos. Post them in trusted numismatic forums. Visit a local coin dealer. Or send it in to be graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication is everything in this world because every coin has a story. And sometimes that story is worth thousands. Maybe it's in your grandfather's toolbox. Maybe it's in a forgotten roll of coins behind your bookshelf. Or maybe it's in your pocket right now. The next time you hear that soft clink of a penny in your hand, pause. Look closer. It might just be history whispering to you. Thanks for watching. If this video sparked your curiosity, hit that like button, subscribe for more stories hidden in plain sight, and share this with someone who might have a coin jar just waiting to be explored. You never know what treasures are lying just beneath the dust. And remember, some of the greatest discoveries are the ones we've already touched. We just didn't know what we were holding. It's easy to dismiss a penny minted in the 1980s. Most of us don't think twice about them. We see the familiar copper tone, Lincoln's profile, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and assume it's just another coin in the crowd. But what if one of those overlooked pennies from 1984 held a hidden detail, so subtle, so unusual, that it turned a single cent into a collector's prize worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? It happened quietly. No headlines, no press releases from a mint. Just a few sharp-eyed collectors noticing something. Strange. The year was 1984. Ronald Reagan was in office. Prince was topping the charts. The Macintosh computer was just released. And in the middle of all that cultural noise, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was producing millions of Lincoln cents like clockwork. But somewhere along the line, a single die, a steel stamp used to create the image on the coin, was flawed. Slightly off. Not enough to halt production. Just enough to make history. At first glance, this penny looked completely normal. The date was crisp. The fields were clean. But then, someone tilted it under a light. And there it was. A second ear. A soft, curved doubling just behind Lincoln's earlobe. They weren't seeing things. It wasn't damage. It wasn't wear. It was one of the most famous die errors of the modern era. The 1984 Lincoln cent with a double die obverse. Often referred to as the double ear penny, it's the kind of error that seems almost accidental, like nature playing a trick. Lincoln's portrait looks exactly as it should, except for this extra shadow, a phantom second ear raised clearly from the surface. It's not just a blur. It's sculpted, defined. A doubling that should never have been struck. To understand how it happened, you need to know how coin dies are made. Each die starts as a blank tool that's impressed multiple times with a hub that carries the design. If the die shifts or moves slightly between impressions, it can produce a doubled image. That flawed die is then used to strike thousands of coins. If it isn't caught right away, those coins enter circulation, and the search begins. For years, this particular error went unnoticed. It didn't scream for attention like a wildly off-center strike or a clipped edge. It was quieter, more elegant. You had to look for it. But once collectors knew what to search for, the chase was on point one by one. The coins began to surface. Found in change, discovered in old jars, spotted by beginners and veterans alike. And as they were authenticated and submitted for grading, their value quickly escalated. A certified mint state example sold at auction for over $11,200. Another, in slightly lower grade, still fetched nearly $12,500. Even well-circulated versions, coins that had spent decades passing from hand to hand, were pulling in over $10, $100. The fascination wasn't just with the error itself. It was what the coin represented. A moment where the machine slipped. A sliver of imperfection in a system designed for precision. And in that imperfection, beauty. Some coins had stronger doubling than others. Some showed traces of doubling on Lincoln's jawline and neck as well, adding to the intrigue. But the defining feature was always the ear. The ghost-like second curve. A reminder that even in the mechanical world of minting, human error leaves fingerprints. Imagine this. A kid in 1999 rifling through a coin folder inherited from a grandparent. Most of the pennies are oxidized, brown, nothing special. But there's one from 1984 that catches the light differently. He flips it, tilts it. At first, he can't tell what's off. But then he notices the ear. He pulls out a magnifying glass. Stares. It's real. He doesn't know it yet. But he's holding a coin that collectors have been chasing for years. One that could pay for a semester of college. Or picture a coin shop owner. She's sorting through a bulk lot someone brought in. Hundreds of pennies, most destined for the melt bin. She sees a nice-looking 1984 and pauses. Old habit. She examines it. Her eyes widen. That ear. That telltale shape. She sets it aside. That single cent may now be worth more than the rest of the lot combined. That's the magic of the 1984 double-ear penny. You don't need to be a professional. You don't need fancy tools. You just need a good eye and a little patience. Because they're still out there, it's estimated that several thousand of these error pennies were struck before the die was replaced, but far fewer survive in collectible condition. Most were spent, worn down, tossed in fountains or parking meters. But a few were saved, either by luck or instinct, and they've become one of the most iconic Lincoln cent varieties of the last 50 years. And remember, this is a copper-plated zinc coin. By 1984, The mint had transitioned away from nearly pure copper to save on material costs. The new coins were lighter, cheaper, and more prone to corrosion. That means high-grade examples are especially rare. Zinc reacts poorly to time and moisture. Many coins from this era are pitted or spotted. So when you find a clean, red lustrous 1984 double die, that's gold to a collector. Oh, what can you do? Simple. Look at your change. Pull out every 1984 penny you can find. Hold it up to the light. Focus on the ear. Use a magnifier if you have one. If you see doubling, don't clean the coin. Store it safely. Get a second opinion, either from a coin forum or a local dealer. And if it looks promising, send it in for grading. And here's something else to consider. Even if you don't find the famous double die, the act of looking is its own reward. Because in every penny, there's a story. In every mistake, a chance for discovery. Most people will go their whole lives never knowing these coins exist, never realizing that a small detail on a small coin could mean a big payday. But now you do. You know what to look for. You know what it's worth. And maybe, just maybe, your next handful of change holds something more. Stay curious. Keep searching. And remember, the next treasure might already be in your pocket, because sometimes even the smallest coin can whisper the biggest secrets. It starts the same way. Someone empties their pockets at the end of a long day. Quarters, nickels, dimes, and of course a few pennies. The 1999 Lincoln cent slides across the table without a second thought. It looks like every other coin. But buried beneath the surface of some of these common coppers lies a rare mistake. One born not out of neglect, but out of transition. A moment in time when the mint was preparing for the new millennium, and in doing so, quietly produced one of the most intriguing modern penny anomalies to ever enter circulation. The 1999 penny is a coin you've probably handled 1,000 times without even looking at it. Lincoln still sits in profile, stoic and sharp. The Lincoln Memorial still anchors the reverse. But a few of these 1999 cents hide something extraordinary, something that shouldn't be there at all. To understand the value of this coin, we have to step into the hidden world of coin design. In 1999, the U.S. Mint was already working on the next chapter in the penny story. A new reverse was in the works, one that would replace the Lincoln Memorial in the year 2000 with something far more personal, the Lincoln Bicentennial Series. In anticipation of the design change, the Mint began experimenting with new dies engraved with fresh detail, deeper relief, and finer lines. Some of those experimental dies were meant for proof coins only, struck on highly polished planchets, in controlled environments, and never intended for circulation. These proof coins had a sharper, more intricate design than their standard business strike counterparts. But somewhere along the line, a mistake was made. A proof die, meant for limited, high-quality collector coins, was accidentally used to strike regular circulation pennies. These were not meant to be rare. They were not meant to be special. But suddenly, they were. Collectors began noticing that a few 1999 Lincoln cents had unusually crisp features. Lincoln's bust appeared more refined. The beard lines, the cheekbone, even the bow tie, all of it was more defined than on a typical penny. And most striking of all was the spacing and style of the AM in the word America on the reverse. That's where the story takes a turn. The Mint uses two main types of reverse dies, one for proof coins and one for business strikes. On the proof reverse, the letters A and M in America are spaced very closely together, nearly touching. On the regular circulation strike, those same letters are farther apart. But in some 1999 pennies, collectors found a wide AM where there should have been a close AM and vice versa. These design reversals weren't intentional. They were accidents, mix-ups in the die room, where proof die was paired with a circulation planchet. The result? A 1999 Lincoln cent with a rare reverse type, the wide AM variety. Just 3 years, 1998, 1999, and 2000, feature this specific anomaly, but the 1999 version is by far the rarest and most desirable. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. The 1999 wide AM wasn't just an oddity, it was valuable. As soon as collectors recognized the error, demand spiked. Certified examples started pulling in hundreds of dollars. A few sold for over $1,000, especially in mint state condition. One in near-perfect MS 67 red condition, went for more than $2 300 auction. Not bad for a penny you might have overlooked while digging through your car's cup holder. It's a perfect storm of rarity, timing, and collector appeal. A transitional year, a mix-up in the Mint's most secure production line. A tiny design detail that only the trained eye can spot, yet one that transforms a coin's identity completely. But what makes this story so compelling is how subtle it is. The 1999 wide AM doesn't scream its difference. It whispers it. Unless you know exactly what to look for, you'd never spot it. That's what makes the discovery so exciting. It's not just a hunt for treasure, it's a hunt for knowledge, for detail, for understanding the intricacies of how a coin is born. Imagine a teenager in 2010 thumbing through rolls of pennies they picked up from the bank. It's a weekend project, something they read about on a forum. Most of the coins are dull and scratched, but one, just one, has something off. They flip it over, check the reverse. The AM is close. Too close. They run to the computer, pull up a reference image, and suddenly it clicks. They've found it. A wide AM in a year that shouldn't have had one. A tiny anomaly that turns pocket change into prestige. Now picture an older gentleman, retired, sifting through his childhood coin album. You find a page labeled 1999. He never paid much attention to those. But this time, he flips the pennies, compares them. He remembers hearing about the wide AM variety years ago, dismissed it as another collector rumor. But there it is, right in front of him. A coin he's had for over 2 decades, now potentially worth a small fortune. This is why the 1999 Lincoln Cent is more than just a coin. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary secrets. That something mass-produced can still carry the fingerprint of human error, and that error can lead to rarity, beauty, and value. The best part? These coins are still out there. People spend them every day without realizing what they hold. Rolls of them sit untouched in drawers, jars, and coffee cans. You might even have one right now, hiding among the rest. The 1999 wide AM Cent isn't some distant collector myth. It's real, and it's waiting to be discovered. How can you find one? Start with a good magnifier. Flip over any 1999 pennies you find. Look closely at the word America on the reverse. If the A and M are nearly touching, you've got a regular strike. But if there's a noticeable space between them, a wide gap, you might be looking at the rare wide AM variety that don't stop there. Look at the initials FG, which stand for designer Frank Gasparo. On the wide AM reverse, the FG is positioned slightly differently than on the normal die. These subtle shifts are clues. They're like footprints left by the Mint's mistake, and once you learn how to track them, you'll see pennies in an entirely new light. And if you find one, don't clean it. Store it carefully. Have it evaluated by a professional grading service. Even circulated examples can fetch impressive prices. And uncirculated, Mint State specimens? Those are the dream. This coin, this tiny, unassuming piece of 1999, is proof that the world of collecting is still alive with discovery. That hidden treasures don't always come in gold or silver. Sometimes they come in copper-plated zinc. Sometimes they're the things we touch every day without realizing what they're worth. Next time you get a handful of change, pause for just a moment. Take a second look at that penny from 1999. Tilt it under the light. Examine the letters. You might be holding a mistake that became a masterpiece. And if you are, you'll never see a penny the same way again. It's hard to imagine that a penny minted just a few years ago could already be a collector's dream. After all, the 2014 Lincoln Cent is one of the most recent additions to your pocket change. Modern, common, and produced in the billions. But hidden among those billions is a version so rare, so bizarre, that it stunned even seasoned numismatists. A mistake so dramatic it feels like fiction. And yet, it's very real. It all started quietly. No fanfare, no big announcements from a Mint. Just a few sharp-eyed collectors noticing something was off. The story begins not in a treasure chest or dusty attic, but in circulation. A coin shows up in a handful of change, and something about it is instantly wrong. A 2014 penny, but struck on the wrong metal. Instead of the familiar copper-plated zinc composition introduced in 1982, this penny rang different. It looked different. It even weighed different. And that's because it wasn't struck on a penny planchet at all. It was struck on a dime. Think about that for a second. A Lincoln cent with all its details, perfectly imprinted, but on a dime-sized blank. Smaller, thinner, lighter. The result is jarring and captivating all at once. The edges are incomplete, the legends slightly clipped, but the design, Lincoln's portrait, the date, the inscriptions, everything is there. Just misplaced. These coins are known as off-metal errors, and they happen when a planchet intended for one denomination ends up in the coining press for another. It's incredibly rare. The minting process is heavily automated, controlled, and inspected. But every now and then, one rogue blank slips through, and when it does, the result is magic. Only a handful of 2014 Lincoln cents struck on dime planchets have been found so far. One of the most notable examples was certified and sold by a major auction house for over $4,000. That's right, a modern penny worth thousands, not because it was ancient or made of precious metal, but because it wasn't supposed to exist. Collectors went wild. How could something this dramatic escape the mint's eyes? And yet, that's the allure of mint errors. No machine is perfect, no system foolproof. Even today, with high-speed technology and laser-guided inspections, the occasional mistake still gets out. And when it does, the hunt begins. Now imagine being the person who finds one. You're going through your change, maybe stacking coins or wrapping rolls. You spot a 2014 penny, but it feels light. You flip it over. The rim is off. The color is silvery. At first, you think it's a fake, maybe damaged, but then you weigh it. It's 2.27 grams, exactly the weight of a dime. Suddenly, everything clicks. You're not holding a damaged coin. You're holding a coin that never should have been . Or maybe it turns up in a bulk lot at coin show. Thousands of coins in a bag, dusty and forgotten. A dealer sifts through them one by one, not expecting much. And then there it is. The date reads 2014, but the feel is all wrong. It's a 1-cent design on a 10-cent body. It's history in the palm of your hand. These types of errors are more than just anomalies. They tell a story of what can happen when precision falters, even for a split second. And because they are so scarce, especially in modern coinage, their value skyrockets. Not just in dollars, but in curiosity, in the thrill of the find, in the satisfaction of discovering something that wasn't supposed to be. What makes the 2014 off-metal penny even more interesting is that it blurs the line between denominations. It's a cent and it's a dime. It doesn't fully belong to either category. That mystery, that in-between status, is exactly what makes collectors obsess over it. And the story doesn't stop with dime planchets. Some 2014 cents have been found struck on foreign planchets, blanks never meant for U.S. coins at all. How those planchets got into the U.S. mint supply chain remains a mystery. But there they are, Lincoln cents with off-color metals, wrong weights, and striking details that shouldn't exist. They're not just errors. They're time capsules of a mistake. These are the kinds of coins that change hands in whispers, that appear on the covers of auction catalogs, that make headlines in collector circles. And they're still out there, waiting to be found by someone willing to look closely. So, what should you be watching for? Start by handling your coins. Don't just glance at the date and toss them aside. Feel the weight. Notice the color. A regular penny weighs 2.5 grams. A dime weighs 2.27 grams. If something feels lighter or smaller than it should, that's your first clue. Use a digital scale if you have one. They're inexpensive, and for a coin hunter, they're gold. Next, look at the design. Is any of the lettering cut off? Are the rims missing? Does it seem like the coin was squeezed into a mold too small for it? Those are all signs that you might have something special. And if you do find something odd, protect it. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Put it in a protective holder and get a second opinion. Even coin dealers have been fooled before. Some errors are that strange, that unique. But if it checks out, you might just have a 1 in a million piece of modern minting history. This is what makes coin collecting such an endlessly fascinating pursuit. It's not always about ancient coins or gold eagles. Sometimes, it's the 2014 penny in your kitchen drawer that ends up being the rarest of all. And the best part? You don't have to travel, invest thousands, or know everything about numismatics to get started. You just have to look, because somewhere out there, another off-metal error is waiting to be discovered. Another miracle in copper or silver that defies logic and rewards curiosity. Next time a penny lands in your palm, take a second. Turn it over. Feel its weight. Check its color. You might be holding a mistake worth remembering, because in the world of coins, the biggest surprises often come in the smallest denominations. And sometimes, all it takes is a closer look to uncover a story worth thousands.